welcome to today's lesson, and we are talking about in Rome. So when in Rome is the title. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. All would have been well if he had just heeded that request. We're going to focus on all would have been well if. Okay. We use all would have been well if to express that a bad situation occurred because of a failure to do something or because something didn't happen. We usually express regret in this situation. So let me just put a note. It is a way, we use this as a way to express regret. 후회하다. Now, an example. All would have been well if he had just heeded that request. Okay, so let's have a look at this. 그가 그 용천에 좀 더 주의를 기울였다면 모든 것이 잘 되었을 것이다. So it all would have been well if he had heeded the request. By the way, heed means to pay attention to or take notice. So if he just paid attention to the request, everything would have been fine. Now, let's have a look at our other example. All would have been well if I had just kept my mouth shut. 내가 그냥 입을 다물었다면 모든 것이 잘 되었을 것이다. 저는 후회했어요. 얘기 안 한다면 괜찮을 것 같아요. 근데 저 얘기했으니까 이제는 나쁜 상황은 생겼습니다. 아니면 all would have been well if Judy hadn't found out what happened. 주디가 무슨 일이 일어났는지 알았는지 않았더라면 모든 것이 잘 되었을 것이다. 주디가 이 상황은 알았어요. 그 상황 때문에 주디가 기분 나빠졌어요. 근데 안 알면 there wouldn't be a problem. All would have been well if she hadn't found out what happened. Now, you can also simply say, if Judy hadn't found out what happened, because that implies that everything would have been okay. So many situations, 영어 원어민 사람들은 if only Judy hadn't found out what happened, 이렇게 말해요. 2번, if only there had been a proverb to guide him. Now this is actually very similar. If only. Okay, so use if only to express that you wish something were or weren't true. It is similar to the meaning of the previous expression, all would have been well if. 거의 똑같아. It's so similar. So, like I said before, 이렇게 뺄 수 있어요. It all would have been well. Okay, 뺄 수 있어요. 그래서 if Judy hadn't found out what happened. 그리고 if I add this, if only Judy hadn't found out what happened. 의미가 100% 똑같아요. 100% the same. 100% the same. So, if only I were young again. 내가 다시 젊어졌더라면. Alright, if only I were young again. This is the same as if I said, if I were young again. 그리고 you're expressing that that you wish something were true or not true. If only my parents would stop nagging me. 부모님이 잔소리 좀 그만했으면 좋겠어요. If only my parents would stop nagging me. If only. Very similar to, like, if all would have been okay, all would have been fine if my parents wouldn't stop nagging me. 그래서 예를 들어서 아빠랑 싸웠어요. 왜냐면 아빠가 저를 계속 잔소리했어요. 그래서 우리 많이 심하게 싸웠어요. 너무 yelling, 소리 지르고, 이런 상황? 근데 조금 후회했어. 싸우기 싫어서 후회했어요. If all would have been well if my parents would stop nagging me. 부모님이 잔소리 좀 그만했으면 좋겠어요. 우리 안 싸울 것 같은데. 그런 느낌이에요. Now, let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. All would have been well if. Remember, all would have been well if hadn't found out about let's keep it simple. I hadn't found out about her lie. Something like that. 내가 그녀의 거짓말을 알아내지 않았더라면 모든 것이 잘 되었을 것이다. But I found out and now I'm angry. All would have been well if I had remembered to prepare for the interview. 내가 면접 준비를 하는 것을 기억했다면 모든 것이 잘 되었을 것이다. 너무 정신이 없어서 면접을 갑자기 까먹었어요. 그래서 준비 안 했어요. 근데 준비한다면 다 잘 되었을 것 같아요. If only. If only I had when I was younger. I think most people think this. Studied more. 내가 더 어렸을 때 공부를 더 했더라면 좋았을 텐데요. Now things are more difficult because I didn't study harder. 그런 후회 느낌이에요. If only we could find some way to stop the war. 전쟁을 막을 방법을 찾을 수 있다면 좋겠습니다. Now, let's move on to the further discussion. 1번. If you could create special decorum laws for your city, what would they be? 만약에 당신의 도시를 위한 특별한 데코rum 법을 만들 수 있다면 그것들은 무엇일까요? So many. Don't spit on the street. 길에서 침을 뱉지 마. That's disgusting. If you do that, there's nothing I can do. But I think it's really, really disgusting. Don't litter. 길에서 쓰레기를 버리지 마. Find a bin. Yeah, those are my two top ones that I really don't like. I think it looks horrible when people spit on the street. I think it looks horrible when people litter. 2번. In what other places is over-tourism a problem? What kinds of problems does it cause those places? Over-tourism이 문제가 되는 다른 장소는 어디인가요? 그런 곳에서는 어떤 종류의 문제를 일어날 수 있어요? So over-tourism is like what? 과잉 관광. So 명동에 옛날에 이제는 조금 아직까지 조금 조용하지만 전 옛날에 명동에 가면 쓰레기 많이 있었고 그리고 사람 너무 많아서 some of the property, some of the shops started to look old because people kept walking in and out. Yeah, too many tourists can be a bad thing. If you go to a temple, people continuously walk on the temple or around the temple. The landscape is damaged. Those are some major problems that can happen due to over-tourism. So that's why we should control how many tourists come in. But tourists bring in money, and the government wants more money. And so does Korea and every other country. Okay, so that wraps it up for today's lesson, and we'll see you on the next lesson.
Take something literally.
Take something literally.
Decorum.
Decorum.
Littering.
Littering.
Stay put.
Stay put.
Single out.
Single out.
As one sees fit.
As one sees fit.